online? Okay. So let's see in our in my olden days or in your olden days, there is a lot of difference, no? No, huh? Yes, sir. No. Okay, let's see. In our in your college days or in your childhood, okay, if you want to store some files, what was the first storage that you got? Huh? Have you heard about floppies? Heard, huh? You haven't used. Okay, so no floppy people here, floppy Zamana people. Okay, so at least when I was in my college, right? Right, when I was in my college, I still remember the floppies, the black color floppies will be there. It will be only this much, right? So, and then you know how much size that the floppy can store? 2 MB. How much? If you take one selfie now, it is more than 2 MB, right? On the day, floppies was just storing only 2 MB. Say floppy. So initially we had floppies, which is 1.44 MB. So approximately 2 MB. None of this 2 MB was sufficient on those days? No, it was not sufficient, right? So later, many people from floppies, they have invented something called CDs. At least you know CDs? From CDs, Amana, you are there. Huh? Okay, CDs you know, right? Remember on those days we used to, how much is a CD? How much size? Uh, Not in hands, not this much. So what is the size of the CD? 700 MB. Might have used a lot of CDs, huh? Okay. So, and CDs were sufficient? The size of the CD was sufficient, 700 MB? No. Later, we have moved to DVDs. Remember DVDs? 3 movie, 1 DVD, right? On those days, we used to purchase, we used to get it the DVD for rent, right? And then we used to watch the movies, right? On those days, right? So, how much the size? It was 4.7 GB. See? And again, these DVDs were sufficient? No, DVDs was not sufficient. Later, we got what? Pen drives. What is the maximum size of the pen drive? Let's say 128 GB. And this 128 GB pen drive was sufficient for you again? No. So later, what you got? Hard disk, external hard disk. And maximum size is 2 terabyte. And nowadays, your hard disk is also sufficient? No. Many people are purchasing many hard disks and they're keep eating it, right? So, but the thing is, the hard disk is safe. Hard disk is not safe. Just in case Pusuk that hard disk fell down, it's gone. And all of a sudden you get any virus inside the hard disk, all your data is corrupted, right? So the need of the storage is getting increased. So we need a lot of storage. We need more storage. We need more storage. So for that reason, AWS is watching all these things, these problems for a layman. Sustana, anni observe chestunna, right? So he was just watching everything. And finally, what he did was, so he came up with a service called S3. What is the name? Simple Storage Service. What is that? Simple Storage Service. Say that. What is the full form of S3? Simple Storage Service. And also, this is a certification also. What is the full form of S3? And definitely, they will confuse you saying that it's a simple service storage, service storage simple, storage simple service, right? So remember, today, till now, whatever we have learned, everything is simple or not? Yes. So here in AWS also, all services which start with simple and end with service. All the services, they will start with simple and with service. And whatever the service is, that is that service. Like if it is storage service, simple storage service. You're getting it. So there is no confusion. Don't put, you should not take the wrong answers. So it is simple storage service. What is that? Simple storage service. And also, I'll write here in AWS, all services will start with simple and end with service. And with service. Let's say, for example, there is a service, there is a service to send notifications. There is a service to send notifications. What is the full form of the service? Simple notification service. That's it. So it is SNS. Simple notification service, like this. And there is a service is used to send emails. Tell me that. SES. What is the full form of SES? Simple email service. So like this, everything will start with simple and end with service. So you should not get any confusion there. Clear, Nana? Nice. Okay. And now this storage, this simple storage service is provided by AWS. The problem with our storage is 2 MB, 700 MB, 2 TB, right? We need more storage, right? For that reason, AWS is giving this S3 as a unlimited storage. Is it limited storage or unlimited storage? Unlimited storage. Now, similarly, same in Google. In Google also we have what? Google Drive, no? In Google, what we have? Google Drive. In Google, we have Google Drive. So where you store all the files. Similarly, in AWS also, we have the same thing, which is called S3. In Google, we call it as Google Drive. In AWS, we call it as S3. Now, what do we do with the Google Drive? We store the files. We store the files, we upload, we download, we access, we do all these things in the Google Drive. Similarly, in S3 also, what you do? You upload the files, you download the files, you access the files. Nana, is it possible to execute any file in Google Drive? No. Can you execute? Can you run any file? You just can open the file? Can you run any files? No. Similarly, in S3 also, you can just store the files. You cannot execute any files. Is it possible to install anything in Google Drive? No. Similarly, S3 also, you cannot install anything. It is just a storage where you can just go and store the files. Got it now? So let's start writing. So S3 is limited storage or unlimited storage? S3 is unlimited storage. You can write also. S3 you can write also, you can read also. No issues, okay? And S3 is used to just store the files. Nana, are there any restrictions in S3 that this file cannot be stored? No, everything you can store. Can you store all kind of files? Yes. Can I say all kind of flat files? Flat file means any kind of file. So S3 can store all flat files.
Recording in progress.
No. Right? Is it Is it possible to install OS in S3? Answer is no. And is it possible to install database in S3? What is your answer? No. Is it possible to install, run, execute any files in S3? Answer is no. Nana, keep remember this S3 is used to just only store the files. Got it? Good. And this S3 is serverless. S3 is serverless. Google Drive also server-based or serverless? Serverless only, no? What is serverless? The meaning of serverless is, for us, we no need to log in to any server. We can just go and access it. In Google Drive, you have accessed, you have used Google Drive, right? For Google Drive, do you need to log into the server? No, you just open it and then access it. So that is called serverless. And S3 also same thing. You no need to log into any server. You just open the console and access the S3. That's it. So S3 is serverless. S3 is serverless. Okay, now as it is serverless, who will handle the performance of S3? AWS. Fantastic. AWS handles high availability, performance, scalability, etc. for S3. So AWS take care of it. Okay. So now, let's say, for example, I have so many videos. I have so many movies with me. Assume I have so many movies, Hollywood movie, Tollywood movie, Malayalam movies, all kind of movies I have. So then our Bharat, right? He came to me and said, "Sir, can you please share that movies to me? I want to put it in my laptop." So guys, I shared those movies to him. What he'll do? He open his laptop. Guys, he will create a nice, okay, let's say, what kind of operating system you guys have? Windows. In Windows operating system, will you create a nice folder? Will you just go and dump on the desktop? No. So what you do, you create a nice folder. Inside that, you put the files. Yes, no. What is the file name? Give me one movie name. Jawan. Okay, Jawan.mp4 or something. Okay. Do you understand? So you create a folder. And inside you put the files, and you have the file name. So similarly in S3 also, guys, let's talk about in S3. In S3 also, you need to create folder, but we should not call it as folder. We should call it as bucket. What we should call? Bucket. We should call it as what? Bucket. What does the bucket contain? Files? No. We should not call it as files. We should call it as objects. What should we call it? Objects. And the name of the object is called key. The name of the object is called key. You're getting it? So what is in S3? What do we create? Buckets. What do we create? Buckets. Louder. What do we create? Buckets. In S3, we create buckets. And what does the bucket contain? Objects. What is the name of the object called? Keys. You got this? Getting it? Super. So if someone asks you what is a bucket, what do you say? Can we say bucket is the container of objects? Yes. Bucket is a container of objects. What is an object? Object is a file. And what is the name of the file? The name of the file or name of the object is called is a key. Got this? So what do we create in S3? Buckets. What does the bucket contains? Objects. What is the name of the object? Key. Okay. Super. And every service, I told you whether it is a regional or global. But remember, our S3 is global. S3 is global. Certification question. S3 is global. No, S3 is global, but buckets are regional. What is it? Buckets are regional. So I will be telling about all these things deeper when we go and talk about S3. But for now, just remember S3 is global or regional? Global. And whereas you create the buckets as regional. So can you create the bucket in Mumbai region? Yes. Can you create the bucket in Ireland region? Yes. Can you create a bucket in any other region? Yes. Buckets are regional, but S3 as a service is global. Okay. Now, Nana, Chiti, do you know what is a static website? What is static website? What is static website? What is static? Yes, which cannot be modified. So let's say, for example, you have some websites which is static. That means the content will be changed? No, the content will be there. Let's say, for example, Wikipedia. You know Wikipedia, right? So Wikipedia, the data will be changed. The content will be changed? No. And you have your company website. Website will not change. It will be the same forever until they change. So it will not keep on changing, right? It's static. So let's say, for example, you have those static website. Generally, Nana, as a customer, I came to you and I said, hey, I have a static website. I don't have any databases, nothing. Only few HTML files are there. Few static files. And I gave it to you. And I told you to please deploy it in AWS and let me know. So in which service do you choose to deploy your application, the static website? Where? As per your knowledge till now, which service do you suggest to host some application? Huh? Lightsail, you have it everything. I want you to deploy the application. In Lightsail, the application is there already. Yes, EC2 and then Beanstalk you have it. But for EC2 and Beanstalk, you need to go and launch EC2 instance. You need to set up, do everything. And for high availability, you need to have a load balancer. All the things you need to do. But guys, for static website hosting, our S3 is giving a wonderful feature. In S3, you can host static websites. In S3, what you can host? Static websites. Static websites meaning, do you have any operations in the backend database operations? No, it's just a small static website. So for static website, you no need to go to EC2 and Beanstalk and all. So you can host your static websites where? In S3. In where? In S3. So guys, S3 supports static website hosting. S3 supports static website hosting. You know how simple is to host the static website here? Nothing. What you need to do is, Nana, you just need to create a bucket. You just need to create a bucket, put all your HTML files and enable static website hosting. Enable, disable will be there. Enable it. Boom, that's it. And automatically that S3 will give the URL. And automatically everything is completely managed by S3. It is very, 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 very easy to host a static website in S3. Remember, Nana, in any kind of certification question, any kind of interview questions, if you got anything related to static website, so which is a service where you can host it? S3. Can you host it on EC2 also? You can. But you have to do a lot of things in EC2 manually. But here in S3, create a bucket, put all your files, enable static website hosting. That's it. Simple. Make sense? Okay, I'll write it here. So what you need to create a bucket. Okay, so create a bucket. Put all your files inside the bucket and enable static website hosting. That's it, guys. Okay, once you enable static website hosting, do we need to worry about the elasticity, scalability, performance of the host website? No. Who will take care of it? S3 will take care of it. AWS will take care of it. Because S3 is serverless, no? That's why we don't need to worry about any server. Automatically, S3 will take care. So no need to worry about HA performance, scalability, etc. because S3 handles it. There is a question, how S3 is serverless? Google Drive. Did you access Google Drive? Yes, you can. Sharath. You did you access Google Drive? Yasin and who's that question asked? Yes. What is that? Where is that spelling mistake? Huh? Appa. Arre, re, re. It's okay, no? Okay. You took very serious, huh? Spelling mistakes, huh? So I'll be writing very fastly, no? So there will be typo sometimes. So don't think that Sir doesn't know about spelling also. Okay. So, okay, someone is asking how S3 is serverless. So Google Drive, we all access Google Drive. No. Anything that you are logging into the server is called server based. And anything that you are accessing just a service, that is called serverless. Simple as that. Right? Yeah. So guys, there is a um, notification from admin. Please check it and read it. Okay. So is this clear till here, everyone? Yeah, Anil, it will use in the backend. So yeah. Is it clear till here, everyone? Any questions till here? Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next thing here. Guys, now we are learning about the topic which is very, very, very important. And I'm telling you, online people, I know you are interestingly listening it, but just get up and sit properly. Don't lie it on your bed. Okay. Right, and then I know how many different ways that you are listening these classes, but sit properly, okay, and then listen. It's very important. Okay, so now let's talk about the topic called EBS, elastic block storage. Elastic block storage, say that, guys, louder. Elastic block storage. There are so many. Sujyot. Okay, Nana. So please listen this carefully. Very, very, very important topic. And okay, so do you all agree that we need to go ahead and then launch the EC2 instances? We need to go and launch our EC2 instances. Okay. So how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? How many steps? 7 steps are there. Okay. So, Nana, I went in, I'm going and launching the EC2 instance. This is the EC2 instance. Okay. Okay. EC2, this is a EC2 instance. So in your laptops, listen this, guys, in your laptops has hard disk. Your laptops have hard disk. Without hard disk, your laptop will work? No, it will not work, right? Similarly, for EC2 instance also, we need to have hard disk. Definitely, we need to have a hard disk. Your C drive, we should have a C drive. We should have D drives, right? Definitely we need to have a hard disk. So here in AWS, in EC2, we should not call it as hard disk anymore. We should be calling it as volumes. What is that? Volumes. First and foremost is that. So what is a hard disk called in AWS? In EC2, volume. So we call it as hard disk, we call it as volume. What volume, Nana, is this? EBS volume. What volume? EBS volume. So what is hard disk called in EC2? Volumes. What volumes are those? EBS volumes. Elastic block storage. You create and you attach it to the EC2 instance. Whenever you want volume, you create the volume and then attach to the, it is like assembling it. Attached to the EC2 instance. And if required, can we detach it also? Yes, we can attach the volume or we can detach the volume. Volumes can be attached and volumes can be detached. Agree? Volumes can be attached and volumes can be detached. Getting it? Okay. So now, when you're launch, will come with EC2. When you're launching the EC2 instance, automatically one default volume will come, and that in that default system, in the default volume, operating system. When you're launching the EC2 instance, so if I'm asking the question like this, so what does the default volume called? Default volume. Remember, guys, the default volume we call it as root volume. What volume? Root volume. What does the root volume contains? Operating system. You're getting it? So what is the default volume called? Root volume. What is the default volume called? Root volume. What does the root volume contains? Operating system. OS. So when you're launching the EC2 instance, by default, one volume will come. What is that volume? Root volume. What does that contains? Operating system. Nana, if required, can you add D drive? So that is C drive only, no? The C drive is called what? Root volume. Where does your operating system will go and sit? In C drive only, no? Yes or no? In C drive. In your laptop also you have C drive, no? In C drive you have operating system. Similarly here also, when you're launching the EC2 instance, one volume will come which is called default volume. What is the default volume called? Root volume. And what does the root volume contain? Operating system. What drive is that? C drive. You getting it? So now here we have a root volume. For EC2 instance, this is the root volume. So this one we call it as a root volume. Nana, this one we call it as root volume. So what is this drive, Nana? C drive. What is this drive? C drive. What does the root volume contains? Operating system. Right? What does the root volume contains? Operating system. Okay. So there are, how many types of operating systems are there mainly? Hello? How many types of operating system you know? Okay, there are mainly two only, no? Windows, Linux, that's it. Ubuntu, Red Hat, all the flavors of Linux. Like you have ice cream, no? Ice cream is ice cream. In that ice cream, we have strawberry, vanilla, butterscotch, chocolate. So you have so many. So these are all flavors. These are all flavors. So here also in Linux is Linux. It's a operating system. Inside this you have flavors. But mainly operating system are mainly classified into two types, right? Windows and Linux. And I'll talk about that soon. So now, if you have Windows, now there is a question, sir. Okay, now I to see when you're launching the EC2 instance, a default volume will come. No, what is that volume? Root volume. What does it contains? Operating system. And then now you can ask, sir, how much size? Yes or no? How much size that C drive that AWS is giving by default? So for Windows, it is 30 GB. How much? How much? 30 GB. For Windows, how much, Nana? 30 GB. So for Linux, he will give 8 or 10 GB. How much? 8 or 10 GB. For Windows, what is the volume? How much is the root volume by default? 30. For Linux, 8 or 10 GB. 8 or 10 GB. Super. So slowly here, do you all agree, Nana? Volumes can be attached and volumes can be detached. Volumes can be attached and detached. Okay, see, this is EBS. What is the full form of EBS? Elastic block storage. That's why I told you. Some people were calling elastic beanstalk EBS. No, don't call it as elastic beanstalk as EBS because EBS is elastic block storage. So now consider this is our EBS. Where do you create the volumes, Nana? In EBS. Where do you create your volumes? In EBS. So create a volume like this. Create a volume like this. And this volume, you attach it here to the EC2 instance. What drive is this now? D drive. What drive? D drive. Now, what does the D drive contain? Your data, no? What does the D drive contain? Data. So can you create the volumes and then keep on attaching to your EC2 instance? Yes. I created a volume attached to the as a D drive. Can I create another volume also and attach to the EC2 instance and I call it as what drive? E drive. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. So you can keep on attaching the drives. Nana, what is your default volume called? Root volume. And this guy, the rest of the volumes, we call it as additional volume. What volume? Additional volume. What volume? Additional volume. So volumes mainly two types. What are those? Root volume and additional volume. What does the root volume contain? Operating system. What does the additional volume contain? Data. మీకు అర్థమవుతుందా? You understood? Okay, nice. Slowly, let's go slowly. And there is one important certification question. I'm just going back to S3. Nana, S3, in S3, what do we create? Buckets. What does the bucket contains? Objects. What is the name of the object? Key. So here in S3, what do we upload? Objects only, no? So this S3 is called, S3 is object-based storage. What type of storage is this? Object-based storage certification question. Very important certification question. S3 is what based storage? Object-based storage. Object-based storage. Coming to here, our EBS is, EBS is block-based storage. EBS is what based storage? Block-based storage. Two very important certification questions. So S3 is what based storage? Object-based storage. EBS is block-based storage. So the difference is in S3, what are we uploading, Nana? Objects, all files. But EBS, do we have any? Okay, in S3, do we install any operating system? Do we install any software in S3? No, it's just a storage. But whereas in EBS, EBS is a block-based storage, no? So can you install operating system in EBS? Yes. Can you install any software in EBS? Yes. Can you run anything? Yes. It is like your hard disk only. Do you have any restrictions in your hard disk? No. So similarly here also, you have a volume, you can do anything. It's a block-based storage. It's a raw storage. So here I created a volume and then what I did was I created a volume and attach it here. Yes, of course you can. There is a question. Devanand is asking, can we host a website in EBS? Of course. That is the main thing, right? That is the main thing. So volumes can be attached and volume can be detached. And there is another question here. EBS is better than S3 for storing. Nana, there are two different completely storages. One is S3, another is EBS. And you clearly know when to use what. Let's say, let me ask you a question this. I have so many photos. Where do you store in AWS? S3. Why didn't you say EBS? Right? For EBS, you need to launch EC2 instance, you need to log in, you need to do a lot of things, right? Whereas S3 is used for the storage purpose, no? So store it there. Okay, now I want to run application. Where do you go? EBS, that meaning EC2 instance, right? For EC2 instance, if you want to install, run anything, go for EC2. If you want to just storage purpose, then go for S3. That too limited storage, unlimited storage, unlimited. Of course, Yatin, it is a server. It is hard disk. It is a server. It is not serverless. Okay, question for you, Nana. Can I launch with this EC2? Okay, now, can we attach multiple volumes to this EC2 instance? What is your answer? Yes, very good. So you can attach multiple multiple volumes to the EC2 instance. Good. Can attach multiple volumes to the EC2 instance. EC2 instance has a default volume. What is that volume called? Super. EC2 instance has a default volume. That volume is called root volume. Root volume. Now, the rest of the volumes are called what volumes? Additional volumes. Fantastic. Fantastic. What does the root volume contains? The root volume always has OS, operating system. What type of OS, Nana? Windows, Linux. And also we have Mac also. Latestly AWS is providing, but we don't use that much. Mac also is based on Linux only, no, in the backend. Now, question for you is, AWS is providing the operating system, no? So operating system, mainly we have two types of operating systems. Operating system basically are two types, not Windows, Linux. So we have client-side operating system, server-side operating system. No, you have in your laptops, right? In your laptops, you have what kind of operating system you have? Windows. Which version? Windows 11. Some people have Windows 10, Windows 11. So in EC2 instance, will you go with Windows 10 and 11? No. So this is the operating system that we are using are client-based operating system. But on server side, you have different operating systems. So that is called Windows Server 2020, 2021, 2022, 2020. That is server side. On client side, we use Windows 10, Windows 11, all these things. So in EC2 is a server only, no? So in server, will you have Windows 11, Windows 10? No. You have Windows Server 2020, 22. So we have server based. So that also I'm writing here. So we have two types of OS, client side OS, client side, and then what? Server side OS. Client side OS, server side OS. In client side, what do we have? So Windows 10, Windows 11, all. On server side, what you have? Windows Server 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, and also you have Red Hat, CentOS, SUSE, Ubuntu, etc. There are so many. So that EC2 provides client-side operating systems? No. What does it provide? Server-side operating systems. Getting it, Nana? Subharav is asking, what's the difference? What is a client? What did you learn first day class? What is a client? Which request a resource. So that meaning, what is a server? Which respond to that. So the client meaning we always request in our laptop. Are you giving any response to anyone from your laptop? No. In your laptop, that's why it is called client side operating system. That meaning it will always send the request. Server meaning on the back end, it will respond to your request, which is in your laptop. So that's the main difference. Okay. So I'll write EC2 instance supports what side operating system? Server side operating system. So EC2 supports only server side operating system, not client side OS. Getting it? So if you have operating system on that volume, what is that volume called? Yes, if you have OS on the volume is called root volume. That if any end user are getting any VM, then it will not be EC2. It's VM meaning EC2 only. Yatin, VM meaning EC2 only. Now, guys, there is a question for you. How many root volumes can EC2 instance can have? How many root volumes one EC2 instance can have? Only one, no? Very good. You answered. So EC2 instance can have only only one root volume. And EC2 instance can have multiple additional volumes? Yes, very good. EC2 instance can have multiple additional volumes. Very good. Nana is getting it. Is this clear till here, everyone? Slowly. Clear? Online? Is it clear? Non-IT? Very good. So now the question is, sir, okay, by default, how much AWS size he is providing the size for Windows? 30 GB. Is that only maximum 30 GB that AWS is providing for us? No. The maximum volume, the maximum size of each volume is 16 terabytes. How much? 16 terabytes. Certification question. What is the maximum volume size, Nana? 16 terabyte. Maximum size of the EBS volume is 16 TB, terabyte. Nana, each volume can be up to 16 terabyte. Can I have C drive as 16 terabyte? Yes. Can I have D drive as 16 terabyte? E drive as 16 terabyte? F drive as 16 terabyte? Each volume I'm saying, each volume can be, maximum size can be how much? 16 terabyte. But by default, how much AWS is giving for us? 30 GB. 30. Okay, now let's say, for example, by default, you are getting 30 GB. By default, you are getting 30 GB. Let's say, for example, I need to have D drive. Does AWS is providing automatically D drive to you? No. What we need to do? We need to create it. What we need to create? Volume. What we need to create? Volume. Now, for your EC2 instance, you need to have a D drive. So what you do? Create volume. Let's say, for example, you click on create volume and you need to mention the size. Yes or no? How much size that you need? What is the maximum size that you can have? 16 terabyte. Can we have a 500 GB also? Yes. My wish, no? So I go and create a volume of, let's say, 500 GB. Let's say, for example, I need 50 GB, Nana. I need 50 GB. Can I go and create 50 GB? Yes. I need 100 GB. Can I go and create 100 GB volume? Yes. I create a 100 GB volume and attach to the EC2 instance. How much? So can we say volumes are pre-provisioned? Volumes are pre-provisioned. Pre-provision meaning you need to provision how much ever you need to go and create the volumes. If you need 50 GB, create it. 500 GB, create it. 5000 GB, create it. But maximum 16 terabyte you can read. Okay, let me give you one question here. So now I created 100 GB volume now. How much? 100 GB volume, and I attach it to the EC2 instance. How much size? 100 GB. Inside that I have used only 60 GB. I have used only 60 GB. Now you tell me, AWS will charge for 60 GB or 100 GB? Huh? Chappu? 100 GB, I mean 60 GB. So the answer is 100 GB. 100 GB. Okay, so example. You went to a restaurant and you ordered biryani. Oh, biryani. Oh, okay, biryani. You ordered biryani. Let's say full biryani. And let's say your tummy got full by eating half of the biryani. And your biryani is 100 rupees, for example. And will you fight with the owner saying that I ate only half of the biryani, I'll 50 rupees? No. So you ordered already, right? So you ordered already and you need to pay for the full thing. Here also, here also, that's why I said volumes are pre-provisioned. How much ever you need, you go and create it. If it's 60 GB, create 60 GB only, no? How much ever size that you need to go and create that much size only. Okay, na? So volumes are pre-provisioned. So if you want how much ever size that you want, you can go and create it. Okay, na? Nice. How can we create a volume? How questions are related to practicals? How do I create a volume? Meaning, should I say go to actions, click on create, and I cannot say that, right? So you need to wait for how questions. Please wait until we go to the practicals. Okay, but I'm just putting all the basic knowledge what is required. Okay, so let's write volumes are pre-provisioned. Volumes should be pre-provisioned. Like 50 GB, 100 GB, like this. Maximum, how much, Nana? Maximum 16 TB. Okay. You tell me now, another question. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? Bolo? Huh? Okay, I'll rephrase this. You have your laptop. You have your hard disk to your laptop. One hard disk can be attached to multiple laptops at the same time? Similarly, here only, no, here also, no. So one volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? Answer is no, simple as that. No, right? So I'll write it here. You cannot attach a volume to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Nana, I am putting a star mark here. For now, it is no. But when we go deeper into the topic, there is a chance to attach like this. But I'll talk about that when we go deeper into EC2. Okay. So, but here, for now, can you attach one volume to multiple EC2 instances? Answer is no. Okay, now, guys, let's say you have created 30. What is the size of the default volume? Windows size 30 GB. Now, this 30 GB, after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it will be full, no? 30 GB will be getting easily get full. And your customer or your employee will come and saying that, hey, AWS engineer, 30 GB C drive, 30 GB is full. What will you do now? What will you do? He came and say to you, the C drive is full. What will you do? What will you do? So guys, there are two ways here. Can you attach additional volume? Yes. But what he says that, no, I don't want additional volume. On the C drive only, can you increase? Yes. Guys, we can increase the volume size. We can increase the volume size. From what is the default size? 30 GB. Can you increase to 300 GB? Yeah. Can you increase to 500 GB? Yes. Can you increase to 1000 GB? Yes. Right? But this one is not dynamic, right? So we need to go and manually do it. But remember, this volume size can be increased on fly. On fly meaning, let's say your EC2 is running. EC2 is running. C drive is 30 GB full. You no need to stop the EC2 instance to increase the size. On the spot, you can increase. While EC2 instance running only, at the time of running only, you can increase the volume size. Do you need to stop the EC2 instance to increase the volume size? No, that is why I call it as on fly. On fly meaning on the spot, I can increase it. So volume size can be increased. But let's say, for example, okay, first let me write that. Volume size can be increased on fly. Volume size can be increased on fly. Do you need to stop the instance, Nana? No need to stop the EC2 instance. Do you require any downtime? Downtime, yes or no? No downtime. No downtime. Okay, now see. Now you wanted to create 50 GB D drive. You wanted to create a 50 GB volume. When you're creating the 50 GB volume, Pusuku, you put one more zero and got created. How much is the size? 500 GB. You wanted how much? 50 GB. But unfortunately, by mistakenly, you have created how much? 500 GB. So like how we increase the volume size, is it possible to decrease the volume size? No. So volume size cannot be decreased. Volume size can only be increased, not decreased. So sir, now what should I do? Delete that volume and create how much? 50 GB, another volume. So volume size cannot be decreased. So volume size can only be increased. So if you tell you have 500 GB, no, but if you need 50 GB, what do you do? Delete that and create a new one with 50 GB. Let's say if you have a data, what will you do? Move the data. You have pen drive, Nana. You have pen drive. So pen drive, let's say you have 32 GB pen drive. Okay. Is it possible to decrease the size of the pen drive? No. Right? So let's say you have 128 GB pen drive and you have only 10 GB data. So in that 128 GB, you can put only 10 GB data. Can you decrease the 120 GB to smaller one? No. Here also volume size can be increased, but it cannot be decreased. Yes, you can, Zafar, you can. So volume size cannot, not on fly, no sign up. Volume size cannot be decreased. So what you need to do, delete the volume and recreate it based on your size requirement. Both you can do. When we increase, is it for same drive or a new drive is created? If you are increasing on the same drive will be increased, Shiva. If it is C drive, it is same. And it is possible also to create a new volume, D drive also. You can do on the same volume also, you can create a new volume also. No problem. Nana, is this clear till here, everyone? Huh? CC, online? Yes, you can, Sanjana. Can we segregate the volumes if some of the GB is left? Sharath, that you might need logical volumes you need to create if you know Windows administration. But AWS will not do that. Can we create dynamically expanding volumes? No, you cannot create. Anil, you need to do it manually. Guys, there is a question here. So volume meaning inside your EC2 instance or outside the EC2 instance? Inside. Does AWS has access inside the EC2 instance? Then how can he increase it dynamically? For that reason, who will be increasing it? We should be doing it. Customer should be doing it. AWS will not do. Okay, so Nana, here we have something called device names. What is that? So volumes has something called device names. Remember, this is all about attached, detached, no? Attached, detached is also called as mount to unmount. Yes or no? So the root volume is always mounted to the EC2 instance with one device name. There is a name, and that is slash dev slash SDA1. What is that? Slash dev slash SDA1. Say that with me. Slash dev slash SDA1. So whenever you're attaching the root volume is always attached with this device name. So I'll write first. So for Windows and for Linux, the device name is slash dev slash SDA1. Slash dev slash SDA1. So the root volume is always mounted with slash dev slash SDA1. Because, see, when you are starting up the EC2 instance, Chitty, see here. When you're starting up the EC2 instance, EC2 instance, what will it do? EC2 instance will say, Array, where is the operating system? And EC2 instance will see the C drive. How does the EC2 instance will know where is the operating system in which volume? Because it might have multiple volumes, no? The EC2 instance, any volume which has mounted or attached as slash dev slash SDA1, EC2 instance will directly go to that volume and see, there is my operating system. So to know for EC2 instance, where is the operating system? And the root volume will be always mounted as slash dev slash SDA1. Then only it will boot it from that volume. Otherwise, it cannot. So EC2 instance should know where is the operating system. So that's why root volume, the volume should be mounted as always slash dev slash SDA1, which has operating system. Which volume is that? Root volume. That's why root volume device name should be always slash dev slash SDA1 certification. So, and now rest of the volumes, it could be slash dev slash SD. Apart from A1, you can put to B, E, F, G, etc. Like this you can put. And for Ubuntu machines, sometimes you will get slash dev slash XVDA also. There will be a root volume. XVDF, XVDG, etc. You can add like this. The root volume is always mounted as slash dev slash SDA1. Okay, guys, see here. Shiva and others, see here, guys, please. This is the EC2 instance, na? This is the EC2 instance. And EC2 instance has what volume by default? What volume? Root volume. So this root volume should be attached, no? The volume should be attached, detached. So this is attached with what name? Slash dev slash SDA1. So the root volume is attached with this name. So whenever the EC2 instance is launching or it is starting up, this EC2 instance will look where is the operating system where I need to put. So EC2 instance will check for slash dev slash SDA1. So this volume is attached with slash dev slash SDA1, no? So it will be booted from this volume. Right? Sometimes, guys, for Ubuntu kind of machines, the root volume is mounted as slash dev slash XVDA. But maximum slash dev slash SDA1 only. But for Ubuntu kind of machines, the root volume is mounted as what name? What is that? Slash dev slash XVDA. What is that? XVDA. Good. Is this clear? Okay, let me ask you one certification question. It has operating system, no, Shiva? By default, you will get it. That is called default volume. Shiva. That is a device name. Not required, Devanand. That is not required for us. Okay, let me ask you one interview question and certification question, guys. Think and answer. Is it possible to detach the root volume while EC2 is running? What is the answer? Answer is no. Fantastic. What you need to do for that? Stop the EC2 instance and then detach it. Yes or no? Root volume is like a heart, no? Is it possible to do the operation without anesthesia? No, right? So for that reason, so it is not possible to detach the root volume while EC2 is running. What you need to do? You need to stop it. Okay, let's say another question. Is it possible to detach the additional volume while EC2 is running? Answer is yes. But is it recommended? No. Better to stop. But can you detach it? Yes. That is a perfect certification questions. And very good that you are answering all these questions. Is it possible to detach the root volume while EC2 is running? Answer is no. What you need to do? Stop the EC2 instance first and then detach the root volume. And same thing. Additional volume is to answer is yes. It is not recommended to detach while running. What you need to do is stop first. So guys, there is a question, data lost. When you're detaching the volumes, data is lost? No, data is not lost. So it is just like your pen drive. If you're mounting and unmounting it, when you're mounting the pen drive, data will be lost? No. When you detach, data is lost? No. It is same like this. EBS are like, volumes where you cannot lose the data. No, yes, there is a question. If we detach the root volume, can you start the EC2 instance? No, because there is no heart, there is no operating system. EC2 instance will come up? It will not. Okay, now guys, let's say one volume is already attached to the EC2 instance. It's already attached. Now tell me, is it possible to is it possible to delete that volume while it is in attached state? I'm questioning it again. See here. EC2 instance already have the volume attached. Is it possible to delete the volume directly? No, what you need to do first? Detach it and then delete it. Detach it and then delete. Is it possible to delete while it is attached? No. Right? So I'll write it here. You cannot delete the volume while it is attached. Detach first and then delete. Okay, so EC2 instance has availability zone. Where do we launch EC2 instance? In availability zone only, no? Agree. Where do we launch EC2 instance? In a availability zone only. Okay, what is availability zone? Data center only. What is availability zone? Data center. Let's say I have launched my EC2 instance in 1A. Can I launch my EC2 instance in 1A availability zone? No. Your volumes should be in the same availability zone or different availability zone? Same, no? Your EC2 instance in 1A. Can you have your volume in 1B? 1B meaning another data center, no? Technically, it is not possible. So wherever your EC2 instance is, your volume should be also in the same availability zone. So if I launch one EC2 instance in 1A, my volumes also should be in a same availability zone. So here, EC2 instance has availability zone and volumes also have availability zone. And remember, EC2 instance and volumes should be in the same availability zone. Agree? No, agree? EC2 instance and volume should be in the same availability zone. Let me give you one scenario and you tell me now. This is one EC2, another EC2. Think and tell me, okay? Because I'm making you architects, no? For that reason, I'm giving all these things. So this EC2 instance in 1A, this EC2 instance in 1B. And obviously, this EC2 instance has a volume here and this volume. What volume is that? Root volume. So this EC2, this volume is in 1A and this volume is in 1B. Now, question for you here is, Chiti, question for you here is, can I detach this volume and attach it here and then detach it and attach it here? What is your answer? Huh? What is your answer? Confidently, yes or no? Excellent. Answer is no. Why, Nana? What is the reason? Different availability zone. So 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance. No. That's why I said EC2 instance volume should be in the same availability zone. 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance? No. 1B volume can be attached to 1A EC2 instance? No. See here. 1A volume can be attached to 1A EC2 instance? Yes. If it in the same EC2 instance are in same availability zone, you can attach, detach, but you cannot do it cross. You cannot do it cross. Got this? Super. So here I'll write 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance. Answer is no, because different availabilities. And I'll write it here. We cannot attach 1A volume to 1B EC2 instance because it is a different availability zone. We can attach 1A volume to 1A another EC2 instance. Possible? Yes, because it is in the same availability zone. Vijay, even though it is a regional service, is it good to have your volumes in another data center? 100%. No, wherever your EC2 instance is, your volume also should be in the same data center. That meaning data center here, what do we call? Availability zone. That's the reason why EC2 instance and volume should be in the same availability zone. We'll talk on that, Sainath. We just started, no? When we go deeper, we'll talk about that. So there is a question of using, what is the use of detaching it? Let's say I have one EC2 instance, Bharat has one more EC2 instance. And I have I have a lot of data in my D drive. And he also wants that D drive. So what can I do? Can I detach this drive and attach it to him? Yes. But that EC2 instance should be in the same availability zone. But we'll go deeper, don't worry. Right? It's just only trailer, Babu. It's only trailer. Okay, so okay, now I'll give you one more scenario. Tell me here, see, let's say these are all EC2. See here, these are all EC2. EC2, EC2, EC2. No, see here, EC2. Now I have a volume here. I have a volume here. Okay, now tell me, one volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? What is your answer? One single volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? Yes or no? No, definitely no. But but I have a very hard requirement that I need to have a shared storage. I need to have one storage where I need to attach it to multiple EC2 instances. But what is the service in AWS where that will help us to have a shared storage? That one we'll talk tomorrow. Okay. So you cannot share the volumes among EC2 instances. So what if I need to have shared storage? What is the concept? Let's see tomorrow. Online, offline, everyone. Quickly, guys, quickly. See here. I want you to answer online. Please concentrate. See here. So I have so many files and photos. Which is a service do you recommend to store? S3. What is the full form of S3? Simple storage service. Simple storage service. S3 is limited storage or unlimited storage? Unlimited storage. So in S3, what do we create? Buckets. What does the bucket contain? Objects. What is the name of the object? Key. Okay. So S3 is server based or serverless? S3 is what based storage? Object based storage. In S3, is it possible to deploy static website hosting? Yes, possible. And now, what are the hard disks called in EC2? Volumes. What is a hard disk called in EC2? Volumes. So there are mainly two types of volumes. What are those? Root volume and additional volume. So when you're launching the EC2 instance, automatically one volume will come. What is that volume? Root volume. What does the root volume contains? Operating system. How many root volumes you can have? One. So what are the rest of the volumes called? Additional volumes. Can we have multiple additional volumes? Yes, you can have multiple additional volumes. And EC2 supports client-side operating system or server-side operating system? Server-side operating system. Okay. And what is the maximum EBS volume size? 16 terabyte. So do you all agree that how much volume, that size we need to go and pick up that much size? Yes. So is it possible to increase the volume size on fly? Do we need to stop the EC2 instance? Not required. Do we need to have any downtime? Not required. Is it possible to decrease the volume size? No, it's not possible to decrease the volume size. And one volumes can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? No. And what is the root volume device name? /dev/sda1. What is that? /dev/. And additional volume would be /dev/sd. Apart from A1, put B, E, F, G, whatever it is. Now, is it possible to detach the root volume while EC2 is running? No. What you need to do? Stop the EC2. Is it possible to detach the additional volume while EC2 is running? Answer is yes. Is it recommended? No. EC2 instance has availability zone? Yes. Volume has availability zone? Yes. Volume and EC2 instance both should be in the same availability zone or different? Same. I have 1A volume. Can I attach it to 1B EC2 instance? No. You cannot do it. So one volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instance? No. But what if I need to have a shared storage? Let's see tomorrow. You see so many things, but it got injected in your brains? Yes. Super. So can you give the final CC for today online? And online, guys, so please make sure that you complete all your formalities. And tomorrow link will change. Yes, it can be increased. And please get in touch with Shubham. Okay. Yes. So great. So don't miss the class tomorrow because we are going deeper into the topics. Don't miss the class. Okay. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow with the next important topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. And notes will be shared soon. Don't worry. Good night.